Alright, there we go. Welcome to the channel, guys. I'm Coine. Now, today I did want to turn off these closed captions on this video. We don't need those. Now, today I did want to just kind of discuss a little bit about Starfield and why I'm excited for it, and why I think it's honestly going to be one of the best RPGs of, I don't know. I don't want to just make these statements. You know what I'm saying? What I want to do is just discuss why I think it's just going to be a really good game. So it has been, what, about 8 years since Fallout 4 has been released, and 12 years since Skyrim, or if we're counting all the Skyrim re-releases, it's honestly been like 6 months. Look at this. We're just on the moon, guys. And this is what I mean when it comes to this game becoming one of the best RPGs ever. Take the creation engine, upgrade it. Think about all the things that modders have done for Fallout 4, for all the Fallout games, for Skyrim, for Morrowind, for Oblivion. And of course there's a reason why the modding community for these games is so large. It's not just because the games are amazing. They are amazing games. It's not just because of that. There are a lot of amazing games out there that could have large modding communities, but the thing is, those engines aren't really capable of modding. Now you look around this moon, and a lot of people might think, okay, there are 1,000 planets in this universe. Well, not in this universe, but in the game. In the universe, I'm sure there are many more planets than that. But in this game, there are 1,000 planets, and yes, they were procedurally generated for the most part, and then you have many hand-placed pieces of content, more than even Skyrim and Fallout from what we know. And let me say this real quick. I understand that when you're making a point about a game being really good, when you're starting to bring mods into it and starting to bring external things into it, having other players create things to make the game even better, you start to convolute what makes a good game, right? On its own, when it stands on its own. But that's not what we're talking about here today. I just want to talk about why this game, specifically, is just going to be one of the best games ever. I'm not talking about the bugs that might be present in the game, even persisting throughout years, as we've seen with Skyrim and Fallout. I'm not talking about this gunplay, which it looks okay. It doesn't look... This isn't necessarily a shooter, right? It's an RPG. And that's what I mean. I feel like a lot of people are comparing this game way too much to games that aren't really in the same genre. I get it. Things like No Man's Sky. It makes a lot of sense to compare these two games. It makes so much sense, and in a lot of ways you should be comparing them. But I guess the mindset that I have, and the reason that I'm making this video, is RPG. This is an RPG. No Man's Sky is not an RPG. It's an adventure game, it's completely different. I feel like if you compare the two games in terms of the experience that you have, they're not going to be anywhere similar, not even a little bit. Just because you're in the universe, you're flying spaceships. No. Just because there might be some overlapping features, no. They're gonna feel completely different from each other. I'm using No Man's Sky as just one example. You can take any other game. Take any other game that's set in space. Take any other game that's set in space and compare it to this one. I guarantee you that there are just going to be way too many differences, to the point that you start thinking, what's the point in comparing them? Because they're not even remotely the same. Compare individual features. One might be better in another game. Star Citizen might have better spaceship flying. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the entirety of the experience. We're talking about the entirety of the experience. and why this game can provide so much more value than almost any other game on the market. I think it's pretty well known by now that Bethesda is all about the experience. Right here, you know, the dialogue that's going on, the atmosphere they're showing, neon, the fact that I don't remember who said it, but someone dubbed the term NASA punk. In this 15-minute gameplay reveal that we're looking at right here, we might not get a crazy amount of information, but we get a very good idea of how this game is going to be immediately, and for the most part, most of it, we get a lot of intricate details. And of course, I'm sure you've probably seen all of the breakdowns of those, which I'm not here to do, but there are a lot of details that they packed into this.
But ultimately, it's not our story, it's the story you create by who you are and the choices you make. And that starts with character creation. It's our most...
Now, he mentioned it's about your story and the story that you create. When it comes to Bethesda games, that is pretty fundamental to the experience. And I keep mentioning that experience. The immersion you get in a Bethesda game is not like any other game, I feel. I mean, there are other games you might get pretty close. I'm not saying that these are the best games ever. And I feel like when it comes to story, a lot of games are lacking. It's not just about the story that's being told and how it's being told. It's also about everything surrounding it, everything. And there are so many deep mechanics in this game from what we've seen and what we've been told. And that's not to say that the other games out there that might be similar to Starfield don't have those deep mechanics. Of course they do, especially when it comes to survival games, right? But those games don't give you everything. That's what a Bethesda game, I feel, tends to give you. And when I keep saying Bethesda game, when I say that I mostly mean their three major IPs, right? Is Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and now Starfield. But it's not just about the mechanics themselves, because other games, of course, have deep mechanics, maybe deeper than what Starfield has. Not sure just yet. But these mechanics all tie into the lore of the game. Everything is intentional in this game. Everything is intentional in Bethesda games. So you just get this compounding effect of just so many good things all packed into one. I guess that's kind of what people tend to look for when they are looking for their holy grail of a video game, right? And because of those compounding effects, because they have so many deep mechanics that all tie into each other, they all tie into the lore, they all tie into the story, that ties into everything. That's why I'm so forgiving of bugs. Who cares, man? Like, the bugs aren't that bad. If anything, the bugs become more of an endearing factor. But then, again, I'm going back. Mods. That's why Starfield and the other two IPs are so fantastic, is because you have so much possibility. They already give you so much possibility. Look what's going on right here. They already give you so much possibility to begin with. And then they just release everything out into the open for everybody to modify, enhance, improve, add unofficial patches if need be. And of course, I'm not saying that modders should be fixing the game for the developer. I'm just saying that the potential is there. And because there's just so much packed into it, it is really easy to forgive any small mistakes. Bethesda has the receipts. They have the receipts of making good games. And for, this video isn't actually for people that are doubting this game at all. I mean, I'm just kind of sharing my own thoughts. It's mostly for people, I guess, that are sharing similar thoughts. But for the people that are thinking this game is going to somehow flop or just be a terrible game, it's going to be bug-ridden, I just say, hold on, man. Just hold on, okay? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying hold on. Just give it a chance. Because Bethesda has the receipts. They've shown they can make good games. And yes, they've shown they can make kind of buggy games too. But did you still enjoy those games? Are you still playing them? Or, you know, have you packed in hundreds of hours into their packed in game? Over 1,000 planets all open for us to explore and mod. With this kind of ecosystem, you could pretty easily make a system where modders have, you know, they can kind of lay claim to certain areas where they want to expand something. Maybe a modder wants to build an entire city in a certain spot, but you don't want mod conflicts with other modders, right? You don't want someone's really nice cabin, you know, cabin by the lake, being incompatible with that city mod. So what you can do is you create this ecosystem where you plot coordinates and you claim that space, and modders just simply agree, yeah, that space is that person's. Logistically, I do not believe it is that difficult to do. I don't think there would be enough modders, you know, of course over enough time, sure, but think about the size of the Earth. Now, there are planets that are much larger than Earth. Yeah, there's going to be a vast amount of places for anyone to build anything they want. And when you think about it, you don't even have to actually comply with that kind of ecosystem of modding. If someone took a spot that you really like and you just want to do something for yourself, don't use their mod, right? And you just mod where you want to do it. And if you want to release that mod, I guess you could just say, hey, yeah, there's an incompatibility because I really wanted this spot. I don't know. There's probably a way of implementing that into the system as well. But I just wanted to give a little bit of my thoughts on Starfield and why I think it's going to be a fantastic game. One of the best games for myself. I can only speak for myself, of course. I do know many others feel the same though. There might be some doubters about it. It doesn't really matter. I think those of us that know, we know. And if you stuck around this long, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to this channel, as you can see, we only have 104 subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe if you're looking forward to more Starfield videos. I'll probably be doing mostly things along the lines of like story videos, walkthroughs, lore videos, things like that. But I will be doing other things as well. And finally, and most importantly, if you got this far, please like the video. Because if you did make it this far, you know, even if it was on in the background, you know, it was at least good enough for that. So thank you for liking it if you did. And I've been Coine, and I will always be Coine, and I'm out. See you later.